If it isn't blocked by the Supreme Court, the new Florida law doesn't stop at requiring the homeless to find somewhere else to sleep. It mandates that cities and counties provide shelter for those people, including round-the-clock security, lights, and working bathrooms. And as Al Peffley reports tonight from Clematis Street, reaching consensus on how to provide those things isn't easy.
Are you worried about this, that we may not be ready by October 1 to house all these people?
Absolutely worried about it. Absolutely worried about it.
After a community-wide task force met in late April, there are plenty of ideas about how to house the homeless once the new law goes into effect. But getting all parties to agree on the way forward is a challenge, and the clock is ticking.
You're saying that we may have to open a shared encampment by the county and municipalities.
What we're saying is that that is one option.
One option which does not appeal to County Mayor Maria Sachs.
I don't want to put anybody in a camp. The solution is not to pick people up in buses and bring them out to a big area, a big park, put them in a tent city. I'm not going to do that. Putting people in camps is not going to solve homelessness. It just makes maybe our main thoroughways prettier.
Hundreds of people showed up for a task force meeting this spring on how to manage the homeless population with this deadline looming. They were asked to share their suggestions on sticky notes. The task force wound up with over 1,000. Sorting them was no small task. Among the top ideas, building an encampment and opening more secure parking lots for families and individuals living in their cars. Another popular idea, not directly related to housing, is creating a homeless court.
It is a diversion strategy so that people are not criminalized for being homeless.
A homeless court would handle nonviolent offenses, and instead of sending people to jail, these individuals might be sent to rehab or behavioral health facilities.
The communities around the country that have homeless courts have seen tremendous success.
Safe parking lot programs for people who live in their cars can play a significant role in communities combating homelessness.
Do we have any public comments?
At this Palm Beach County Homeless Advisory Board meeting, school board member Erica Whitfield revealed the county has more than 5,000 homeless students, including hundreds who are living in cars.
And I'm very concerned because not only does it impact their everyday lives, but it's very, very difficult to teach a student who's not having a secure, safe place to live. So we worry a lot about it on many fronts at the school district.
The biggest thing is having a dedicated funding stream.
Dr. James Green, head of the Palm Beach County Community Services Department, points out Miami-Dade County has a food and beverage tax that generates $40 million a year for homeless programs. That kind of money can go a long way.
If we were blessed to be able to do something like that, I think it would make a world of difference.
Other solutions we've heard about include housing the homeless in churches or motel rooms, even using tax money to stop foreclosures or evictions so people don't become homeless in the first place. And while building some kind of tent city may not be popular with everyone, it does meet the requirement of getting the homeless off the street and makes it easier to get them help.
There are lots of things that with encampments could become problems, but the other side of it is an encampment would potentially bring folks together that then the service providers in the community could then surround them with services.
Are you recommending that the county should open an encampment for homeless people?
I'm not. We're not neither recommending or not recommending it. What we're saying is that is an option to look at, and we should do a thorough job of deciding whether it's one of the road we want to take.
And regardless of where the money is coming from or which programs best provide permanent housing, jobs, and stable mental health, the clock is ticking. The county must commit to something soon in order to have a solution in place come October. Live in West Palm Beach, Al Peffley, CBS 12 News.
As Al just pointed out, the clock is ticking. The mayor says what happens in the next few weeks could decide how the city moves forward.